is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Canvas, which has taken the world quite by storm because everyone is talking about it. That's not true. But this is a lovely game. Like, it's one that absolutely came out of nowhere for me because I don't even remember seeing this on Kickstarter. But now it's one of those games that they just announced their Kickstarter for their expansion, which I think is called Reflection or something. And then now everyone's like, ooh, because, yeah, it just kind of flew under the radar. I don't remember seeing anyone talk about it in top 10s in the year 2020. But I love it. I think this is the perfect blend of kind of it fits a similar vein that Calico brings, where it's a lighthearted game but actually has some thought process. You're not just going through the motions of being a mindless idiot who plays filler games, which is like, oh, I got 30 minutes, let's just pop out this and just roll dice and see what fucking happens. That's a good use of my time. No, this actually has thought behind it. You have a huge replayability with the different scoring objectives depending on how they come out. It's going to make the game a little bit more complex. Even they have scenarios in the at the back of the rule book for how you want to play. Oh, hey, we want to play a complex game, so we use these 4 scoring cards. Oh, we're playing with our family, so we're doing the family game, which just gives you composition and variety and stuff like that. So I love it. What do you guys think?
I thought it was so cute. I really enjoyed it. I think it has just a nice little level of thinking just enough, and then also just focusing on making patterns and collecting cards and trying to make the cute little painting. I think my favorite part about it is how how cohesive it can be. Like
cohesive
it can be. Just because it just, like, things just simply fit in. Like, yeah, I got lucky with bait, like, with the cat trying to get my sushi, but then, like, Fragile Childhood, it's just random, like, a whale and a bird and some cups, and it's just things that match, no matter what.
It almost fits those, like, when you go to an art gallery, and then you
throw
the paintings on the floor.
And then you walk away like it didn't.
Well, because that's the thing about art, obviously, is that, I mean, I always hate saying it, because it's the most obvious. It's, like, it's subjective. Because you go to something and like you had one and you're like, oh, I like this one, and I'm like, I don't. Yeah. Like, people love.
Which one did you say that about?
I think the bait one was fucking dumb.
The bait one was perfect.
No, I'm kidding. But like going to an art gallery and then you see some people love portraits of people. That was my least favorite type of art because I'm like, great, it's a guy. Or photography where it's like, oh, I love taking family photos, and I'm just like, I hate people, so I love nature, like in National Geographic stuff, and animals and things. Huh?
There was a theme in what you just described.
Was there?
Yeah. Don't want to see portraits because you don't like people. Don't want to see family pictures because you don't like people.
Well, I went into photography as that same example.
Right.
But it's cool whenever you get stuff like this, and some of the ones you get are like really on the nose. But others, like Heavy Dreams, where it's like, you can still kind of make an interpretation if you want to. Yeah. Or you can play this game very mechanical just be like, and it's like, it's one of those games, I'm sure Brett might talk about it, is that there are probably better optimal paintings we could have made with the cards we got, but with the nature of doing run-throughs, it's just, like, this game ends up getting really thinky. Where it's like, okay, I want to put these 3 together. Okay, but what if I try this? Oh, shit, okay. All right, and then there's 5 options out here. Okay, how do I want to put them together?
Especially the last one.
Yeah.
If you've got 5, like we all did, if you save up your 5 and you go, okay, if I did it, and then but that overlaps and that loses a point.
Yeah, right.
And that's actually what I did.
Yeah.
For the last round, especially.
And same. Like, there was one where I was just like, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to go for. Obviously, you never want to have missing sections.
There's no penalty to it.
There is no penalty to it, which is good.
It's harder to achieve some goals.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Brett, what do you think?
I like it. I like it a lot. Like I said, like you said, it is one that you can overanalyze and drag it down, but it doesn't really lend itself to. It's lighthearted, it's mirthful, and as you said, I didn't even notice the art of the paintings that I was putting together.
Yeah.
I was strictly operating mechanically, but it still worked, but it's still fun. The thought that they put into creating the tiles.
Yeah.
Not just the art, but the names and how they they fit, and they always your brain can do something with it.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
never
It's ne-
totally
Yeah, it's
unrelated
never
stuff.
like wooded area. That makes sense. No, that no. See, they
Wooded.
I don't know how
wooded
difficult it
wooded
was.
taint, and you're just like, what? And then it's like a balloon, bubble gum, and a taint.
And weirdly enough, no taint.
You're just like, I don't get it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So the words and the overall theme of that slide go together nicely, but the way that they combine, it's a Zen thing of, wow, that actually works.
Right,
Yeah.
and what makes it even better, which is probably one of my favorite things thematically, is whenever you have just the 3 transparent cards, it's like you have them and you're like, oh, okay, but it doesn't. It feels complete when you slot it into with the background.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting, you're like, I'm not really seeing it, but then you see it on the colored like different types of backgrounds,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, now I'm really seeing it for art. And then another aesthetic thing that they just is the smartest move by the designers is the fact that you can hang this up as a painting. It's literally made to do so. You slide it from the top, and it has a like a slot for like a nail or something, which is just awesome. I think more games need to try and incorporate like display purposes versus just putting it on a shelf and getting shelfware. It's like, hey, this. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of games are pieces of art. This is literally it because it doesn't even have the title of the game on it. But I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I actually
Legacy
think
games that want
I truly win the game because my one of my paintings has one of the paintings on the cover. That was a secret ending. That
is.
it is good for you.
How to let Seth win.
I will allow this.
Good. Otherwise, I'll kill myself.
These do melt nicely though. In case you do get frustrated.
Good. I will.
The really fun part is that like the titles come together really interesting. Like I just created a new piece
Ooh.
called Mass Anxiety, but if you had flipped it around to where like you want something, the cool part is with that comes like foreground and background, where like anxiety is up front, and then mass is kind of in the middle, and then the revolution, the one that I got earlier with like the crowd of people, isn't all the way in the back, so it's like a fog. But it kind of shows up like that. But if I had put revolution in the front, obviously it would be mass revolution, and it would be brought to the foreground. So it's interesting how it plays with the concept of actual art techniques.
Right. And then there's just a bunch of there's so many.
So
just
many
different
options. Yeah, this could be so cool. Yeah, I love the layering aspect of it.
Yeah.
I think
And there
that's-
was one that, I think one I made last time we played this was I had like, I wonder if I can find it because I don't remember exactly what the third one was. Does anyone have Caged?
I don't have
Because I
cage.
feel like
Nope.
okay. Because I remember there was one with a bird, and I think it was
Oh
called
yeah.
it was called Caged, and I think it was called like Caged Freedom.
Oh yeah.
And it had like this on it, and it wasn't called Cage, it was called Liberated. So you have stuff like Liberated Freedom, and then there was something else
Yeah.
in it. But you can get like weirdly deep
Yeah.
art
Right?
in a game that ultimately, what most people would call a filler game. Granted, I don't think 30 minutes is a filler.
Okay.
And it's funny, I brought this up to a friend of mine because we played a few games the other day, and it was around 30 minutes. He's like, oh, it's a filler game. And I'm like, it's funny you say that because if I told you to drive to my house and I live 30 minutes away, you'd say no. Because it's like, oh man, it's 30 minutes. And it's like, oh,
It's a filler drive.
it's a filler drive. But yeah, it's like, why is 30 minutes of, like, when playing a shitty game?
Oh
It's
yeah. Some games 30 minutes is way too long.
Right.
And some games you can't get anywhere in 30.
Right.
So this is a really
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
pace. It's short and it works.
With it, yep, it has and what makes it work so well for me, because I don't like filler games, because usually they are just, I could watch an entertaining video on YouTube
Yeah.
instead of break out a game and then just deal with all that.
Yeah.
Because this has depth to it. Like, you actually have to
Strategy.
think, and it has strategy, and a lot of options, a lot of replayability, and then at the end of the day, you get beautiful pieces of art, which I absolutely love. So I'm excited for their expansion, which I will definitely be backing. I don't know exactly what it entails, but
Doesn't
probably
matter.
more.
We'll love it.
Yeah, it'll yeah. And then there's also achievements you can do. Color in the paint blob beside each achievement when completed. Meet all 4 scoring conditions with 1 painting, which I think you did for one of them. Score 4 bonus ribbons with 1 painting. Score 7 ribbons with 1 painting. Score 14 plus ribbons total. So, I mean, how many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ooh, not quite. You fucking loser.
I know.
Beat the designer's top score, 47.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's amazing.
And I wasn't aware before. But
Jeffrey Chin and Andrew Nerger. Oh yeah, Andrew Nerger. Who? Illustrated by Luan Huynh and graphic design by Jeffrey Chin. Fantastic, fantastic. I honestly think these are going to be designers to keep an eye out for if they can do the perfect blend of filler and depth.
Yeah. Or maybe this was just a toss-off idea, and they've got something much more in-depth.
Maybe. Yeah.
Looking. You know, like Richard Garfield.
Oh, true. I mean, that guy's all over the place.
Yeah, I know.
All right, I have Magic the Gathering and King of Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what? yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else to talk about? Ooh, there is one slight negative, and this is a negative I have just for, just to bring it up. I don't really care because, once again, it is kind of a filler game, and I love stuff that you can... At the end of the game, you get to look at what you've built. But for people who obviously play to win, there is always a very clear winner. Mm-hmm. Like, you can look and see how... Oh, you have more ribbons, you are going to win.
Yeah.
Like...
Yes.
Kind of takes you out of it.
If it's more than 3 or 4.
Right.
It does depend on the points and the goals.
Sure, but it is one of those things where there's not going to be like a surprise where it's like, you know, a score pad where you tally up. It's like, oh, okay, what does everyone have? It's you could visibly see, all right, like you have way more ribbons than most of us. Mm-hmm. Most likely you are going to win, and that could be disheartening for some if they are playing. But once again, you can make the argument this is a filler game, so don't take it too seriously.
Oh, yeah.
But just something.
Yeah, it's not when you spend an hour and a half trying to win, and then you end up 3 points less.
Yes. Yeah. So, you guys got anything else?
I do not.
Do you guys have any negatives at all?
I did take a look at the solo variants that they have in there.
Yeah.
They have 2 of them, and without playing them, so not really fair. But just looking at them, I think that they're probably pretty pointless.
Because they have 2.
Let's go up to 5.
Painting with Vincent. And then solo puzzle. And yeah, I mean, I don't see this game being one to play solo.
Except trying to beat your own score.
Yeah, which I don't mind those kinds of solo variants. Some of them are actually preferred because it's like, hey, play the game as normal, except you are just trying to beat your own score. And that's fine versus having to be like, oh, here's your other separate manual to learn a solo variant and keep track of like 9 different things on top of playing the game. So they could be good, but I have no interest in playing this solo.
Yeah.
It just almost sounds like, to open up our market of people who can play our game, we'll just say it's a solo. Here's you fucking...
Yeah. I feel like, I think we've talked about that before, but people just kind of do that just to get it out there and be like, technically it has the tag solo in it, so it'll show up.
Yeah, right.
On the box it says 1 to 5.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, maybe they're fantastic. But just get one other person and
sometimes
play it too.
Like, what if you just want to, make patterns and match yourself? Like, just something to keep you occupied.
But you can just do that. You can be like, I got improbable obstacle.
And look at that. That's
worth some points.
And I would probably.
It has variety.
I have been sitting here this whole time listening, and I created a few paintings.
Right.
I don't like the masked one I got. It just doesn't fit in.
Fits in with other ones.
Fits in with other ones, just not the ones I have. So, but like I could easily just entertain myself.
Good. That's a solo variant for you.
Yes!
It was made for people like you.
It's for me.
And just put these up on the wall.
Yeah.
I would say that. Similar to like what Sagrada does, where it's like you get like extra like cheats or something, like the like not secret objectives, but like the powers that you have those discs for that you can put on. Okay. I think it would be cool if they did something where it's like the inspiration tokens you actually got points for not going after those, or that would just give you another way to score victory points. Besides the one that everyone's going for, it's like, or what they might do with the expansion is do secret objectives. Because I think Sagrada ends up doing that as well, which they're all kind of in that same vein of like arty games. Because that would go away with the, oh, I can clearly see you have more ribbons, you are going to win. So there's kind of no point in me even, I'm just going to make one and just put 3 in and so on and so forth. If I have a secret objective where it's like, oh, I have some ribbons, but I have this that's going to be worth 15 points or something, that might come in. Maybe he didn't meet his or something.
Yeah, I can see that.
So they obviously have ways to expand this game, so without just being like, oh, more art, just more mechanics. So I'm excited. All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, Brett.
9?
9?
I was gonna give it a 9 too.
No, you can't. Pick another number.
9.
27.
Yeah, 9's been taken.
9's been taken.
No, and I'm saying 9.5,
Well,
so
it is.
you can't. So you have to go down. 8.5, sorry. Yeah, I'm sitting at a 9 as well. It is such a fantastic game. So that's our thoughts on Canvas, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.